Why political memes? Greetings viewers, I'm the new spokes avatar for the Undertaker Navigator. I'm Alvin the Alligator. Here's his words regarding why he has gravitated into the world of political memes. I'm thrilled to become part of this veterans team. My first chore was to remake the Nav's essay, What Do Democrats Stand For? The Nav liked my presentation style, I hope you do too. I look forward to my opportunity to present his future essays on life, issues facing Americans, and just some good entertaining pieces. Why did the Undertaker Navigator start producing political memes content? My answer is one word, hypocrisy. I hate it when I catch myself being a hypocrite. Unfortunately, that happens too often because I have a little buzzer in my head that goes off when I cross that god-awful line. I think it's very clear that I feel the Democratic Party is infected with hypocrisy. So I've been pretty brutal on them. However, I must make this crystal clear, I am never advocating any form of violence against them or anyone else. I do want to shame them into realizing how hypocritical they really are. I hope my memes are entertaining to a majority of those who have found their way to my humble channel. I've been to war and it is truly ugly, ridiculous, insane, so impassionate, for it almost always kills more innocents than combatants. There really are no winners, only losers. I truly think alien cultures have discreetly examined us and have put out an all-points bulletin to stay away from Earth because it's full of insane beings that seem hell-bent on killing each other over some of the most ridiculous justifications that only an insane being could come up with. So this is my way of writing a disclaimer on two of my memes in this video dealing with idiots who get themselves killed or injured because they want to score virtuous points with their little circle of friends.
Scarlet, you're stepping on my foot.
Old Lieutenant Tun, I decided to send you this video message so I get apologize for stepping on your foot at the military ball the other night. However, you did hurt my feelings when you dumped me. For that skag Sandra Bullock, how could you? I was looking forward to going with you to that secret beach in Thailand. And then I hear you've invited you-know-who, and I'm just not a happy camper. Normally, I just call you a royal asshole and move on. But your boyish face intrigues me in a strange and macabre way. I can't figure it out. I'm betting you'll get tired of that brunette and give me another chance, and I'll work on my dancing, and then you can maybe give me some tennis lessons. That could improve my footwork, you little hound dog, you. SJ over and out. And
My dear Scarlet, I accept your apology and must admit that I'm looking forward to reunite with you for future endeavors. My delicate heart is being torn apart by falling in love with you and Sandra. This situation makes me feel like a scoundrel, and both of you have already called me a royal asshole. I am not a scoundrel nor an asshole, just a man infatuated with two beautiful women. Forgive me, but I would like to clone myself so I could have both of you, but since that's an impossibility, I guess I will just have to continue to suffer this dastardly fate. I just bought a Tesla Roadster and tried it out on a famous raceway and hope to take you on a drive to a wonderful swimming hole southwest of Austin, Texas. I discovered when I was teaching tennis at Caswell Tennis Center for the summer. Would you please consider that invitation? You two lasses have got my head spinning and I can't think straight. I'll probably get lost on my next mission to the Democratic Republic of the Congo. I can say no more, dear Scarlet.
Putin is held hostage by a terrorist. A Russian truck driver stops at the back of a long queue on the motorway. He sees a policeman walking down the line of stopped cars to briefly talk to the drivers. As the policeman approaches the truck driver rolls down his window and asks, "What's going on?" Policeman: "A terrorist is holding Putin hostage in a car. He's demanding 10 million rubles, or he'll douse Putin in petrol and set him on fire. So we're asking drivers for donations." Driver: "Oh, okay. How much do people donate on average?" Policeman: "About a gallon."
4 men, each around 50 years old, enter their old college pub. The 4 have been friends since their college days, but had settled in different cities. This was their first reunion in over a decade. The 3 men headed to their chosen booth in the back of the pub restaurant. The 4th did not follow, but immediately heads to the restroom. The first man of the other 3 starts the conversation with, "I'm so proud of my son. He started at the bottom of his company, and within 5 months is now vice president of sales. Not only that, he got a huge bonus. Did he spend it on himself? No. He bought his best friend a brand new Mercedes." The second gentleman says, "I'm also very proud of my son. He became a pilot, went to work for a small airline company, eventually got into management, and ended up becoming the CEO. He too is kind and generous, has a very close friend, so he bought him a twin-engine airplane." The third father said, "I'm very proud of my son. He started out in finance, went to Wall Street and became a multi-millionaire. He too has a good friend, and he gave him a $3 million oceanfront property." The 4th man finally returns from the restroom. The other 3 immediately ask him if he has a son. This proud father responds in the affirmative. He unabashedly states, oh yes, he's homosexual and has been working in a gay strip bar, but was recently laid off. The other three gentlemen don't really know what to say, so they just say, well, that's too bad. The fourth man says, not really, he's doing all right. He's got 3 boyfriends. The first one gave him a new Mercedes. The second one gave him a brand new airplane. And lo and behold, the third one gave him a $3 million home on the ocean. A father is expecting the birth of his first son. He is in the delivery room with his wife, the attending physician, and a couple of nurses. The labor goes well and the birth begins. The baby is on its way, and then all of a sudden, out pops just a fully mature head of a handsome boy. Everyone is in shock. Then the head starts to speak. What are the first words spoken by this fully formed head? The boy looks at his father and says, take me to the nearest pub, I want a beer. The father complies, wraps the head in a small blanket, and proceeds to his local pub. The father enters the pub and unwraps the head on the bar. Everyone in the pub can't believe their eyes. Then, true to form, the boy says, give me a beer, old man. The father quickly complies, holds the beer for the head, and it is quickly consumed. With everyone watching intently, the head begins to shake, and out pops a full torso. Amazing! The boy asks for another, and quickly consumes the second beer. The head and the torso begin to shake until 2 arms pop out of the torso. Simply incredible. Once again, the occupants of the pub are bewildered. This time the boy asks for the third beer, and then slowly sips it down. The legless torso starts to shake, and out pops 2 legs. The boy is fully formed. The whole bar erupts to celebrate this obvious miracle. The father announces, all drinks are in me. The boy really starts to enjoy himself, dancing with all the ladies, singing Bye Bye American Pie, with all the seasoned pub patrons, and drinking like a fish. He is having the time of his very short life. He gets so excited he runs out the front door of the pub into the street and is immediately run over by a truck. Once again, everyone is in shock except the bartender, who calmly quips, that boy should have quit while he was ahead.
Have a kid. That's what everyone says, have a kid. When are you going to have a kid? You know why people have kids? Because they're easy to make. You have sex. That's it. That's why people have them. I wonder how many people would have kids if it was hard to make a kid. What if the only way you get pregnant is both people have to run a marathon? There'd be like 9 kids in the world. They'd all be from Kenya.
Brad Pitt here speaking for The Undertaker Navigator. He once again thanks you for your viewership. Artificial intelligence is producing an unbelievable number of audio and visual tools that a creator can use to bring humor and levity to our otherwise stressful world. The old navigator just wants to relieve some of those awful stresses that all of us endure in our lives as we try to make a living, provide for our families, and hopefully make the world a little bit better place to live. I am truly his very devoted friend, willing to contribute to his channel at the drop of a hat. If you believe that BS, I also have a bridge in Brooklyn that I will sell you on the cheap. You can contact me at brad66@cheapbridge.com. When I was a kid, my mom always said that you have to eat everything from your plate. You have to eat all the food because there is starvation in Africa. And then I ate every day, and then I grew a bit older. And I started to think that how have I helped the situation in Africa? I learned something with kids early on. Don't yell at them, can't yell at them. If it worked, I would do it all day long, but it doesn't. And if you yell too much, eventually they get your frequency, and all of them have this weird internal Bose noise canceling system. And once they get your yell frequency, it's over to them. You just sound like a Yamaha way in the distance. I told you kids to turn this television off and clean your rooms in another. I have stood in front of my children and realized, wow, They're watching television through me right now. So as a parent, you need to develop a second voice. I call it the "you're dead" voice. There's a lot of dads out there that know what I'm talking about. It's a voice you only use once in a while. You need to only have a big life lesson, a big life download. That's what you got to use it for. First time I used it on my son, he was 7. My voice is a combination of Barry White, Clint Eastwood, and Darth Vader. Thank you. We caught him lying, and he was at the age where he thought he invented lying. Turns out, he thought if you don't tell him he's lying, then he thinks he could get away with anything. He's an idiot, and we had him. It was like CSI. Here's the blood spatter. Here's the fingerprints here. Nope. He says I didn't do it, and I lost it. I just went ballistic. Did you lie to me? I'm going to ask you one more time. Did you lie to your father? He came off the ground. It was great. His leg shot out. I know he pooped himself a little bit. A mother was working in the kitchen listening to her 5-year-old son, playing with his new electric train in the living room. She heard the train stopping by her son saying, "All of you sons of bitches who want off, get the hell off now, because this is the last stop, and all of you who want on the train, get the fuck on, because we're going down the tracks." The horrified mother went in and told her son, "We don't use that kind of language in this house. Now, I want you to go to your room and stay there for 2 hours. When you come out, you may play with your train, but I want you to use nice language." 2 hours later, the son came out of the bedroom. The little emperor resumed, playing with his train. Soon the train stopped. The mother heard her son say, "All passengers who were disembarking the train, please remember to take all of your belongings with you. We thank you for traveling with us today and hope your trip was a pleasant one." Then she hears the little boy continued, "For those of you just boarding, we asked you to stow all of your hand luggage under your seat. Remember, there is no smoking on the train. We hope you will have a pleasant and relaxing journey with us today." As the mother began to smile, the child added, "For those of you who are pissed off about the 2-hour delay, please see the bitch in the kitchen. Friendly advice to single young adults before you have kids travel. See the world when you first get together. Go places, because once you have children, you're going to go to Chuck E. Cheese. That's all you're going to get to do. That's your Europe, that's your friends, that's your Bermuda Chuck E. Cheese's, is it? There's people here who are over 50 with no kids. They don't look old. Look at people with no kids. You don't see them with wrinkles. They just sit there. Oh my God, they comment. We're going to Jamaica next week. And people with kids say, you don't know the joy. You know, you don't know the joy while they are trying to make you have kids that you need some. They exclaim, look how happy I am. Shut the fuck up. An elderly man in Phoenix calls his son in New York and he says, I hate to ruin your day, but I have to tell you that your mother and I are divorcing. 45 years of misery is enough. What are you talking about? The son screams. The dad continues. We can't stand the sight of each other any longer. We're sick of each other, and I'm sick of talking about this. So you call your sister in Chicago and tell her that. He hangs up. Frantic, the son calls his sister, who explodes on the phone. Like hell, they're getting divorced. She shouts, I'll take care of this. So she calls Phoenix immediately and screams at the old man, you are not getting divorced. Don't do a single thing until I get there. I'm calling my brother back, and we'll both be there tomorrow. Until then, don't do a thing. Do you hear me? And hangs up. The old man hangs up his phone and turns to his wife. Okay, he says, they're coming for Thanksgiving and paying their own fares. Now what do we tell them for Christmas?
Democrats for? It is easy to know what the Democrats do not stand for. They don't stand for anything that Donald Trump tries to do for America. The eternal question is, however, what do they stand for? 1. Apparently, they stand for men playing in women's or girls' sports with no regard for the safety of the biological women and girls who are competing for scholarships, records, and proper recognition for their hard work in their specific sport. 2. Apparently, they stand for allowing millions of illegal immigrants flooding our country with no regard for the character of these people who are illegally entering the United States. 3. Apparently, they stand for the continued waste of the hard-earned dollars paid into the government by its sovereign citizens who get ignored while billions of dollars in benefits and direct payments are given to the illegal aliens. Oh! Excuse me, undocumented immigrants. 4. Apparently, they are for protecting violent foreign gangs like MS-13 and those from Venezuela over protecting our true citizens from assault, rape, and murder. 5. Apparently, they are for socialism, which only works until it runs out of other people's money and always seems to be the basis of those governments that are responsible for millions of deaths all over the world. A system that makes everyone equally poor except for the few elitist leaders who always know what's best for everybody else. 6. Apparently, they are for their free speech until you disagree with them, and then you need to be censored. 7. Apparently, they are for government waste, fraud, and various forms of corruption as long as they get their share. Again, they are against anyone who tries to fix the real problems of America as long as they and their friends get their grift. 8. Apparently, they are for reparations for slavery even though the last person who ever owned a slave, officially in the United States, died before World War II. 9. Apparently, they are for spending the American taxpayers' money like a drunken sailor who's been at sea for months. Again, all this is fine as long as it is other people's hard-earned dollars. They have no clue what a threat $37 trillion of debt is to everyone's well-being. It will cause hyperinflation. 10. I could easily go on with many more examples of the ridiculous ideas for spending your money. I think we know that is what the Democrats are for, outrageous ways to waste money while they siphon off a percentage for themselves. DOGE has easily revealed this fact.
Well, I hope you will forgive me for the lack of continuity in this video, but I have an excuse. I've purchased 3 or 4 new pieces of AI software, and I'm just now trying to get the hang of them. You can probably tell that I have a fondness for beautiful ladies like Sandra Bullock and Scarlett Johansson. And God bless her, Marilyn Monroe. I'd like to meet all of you. I'm a widower now, and was fortunate enough to be married 4 times to 3 different beautiful women, having married my 3rd wife twice. That may be too much personal information for you to digest, but I'm just trying to explain why I do have an almost fatal attraction for the good-looking gals. I really love the ones with a great sense of humor. If you happen to be one of them, here's a shout-out to you. To make a much more serious point before I go is this. Yes, I'm poking fun at the left and Democrats, but I never am advocating violence or even rudeness toward anyone. I saw enough violence in Central America and Southeast Asia for 20 lifetimes. Enough said. I hope this last video fell in the entertainment category for you and mustered a few chuckles or at least a few smiles from y'all. Thank you for coming to my channel, and feedback is always welcome in the YouTube comments or by direct email to darylus@gmail.com. Most humbly yours, The Undertaker Navigator.